Yo, what's up, Legacy Shinobi Squad? Today, we're diving into an absolutely insane what if. What if Naruto became the Demon Lord successor and conquered the elemental nations? In this dark and godlike tale, Naruto's life takes a twisted turn when he's chosen as the successor to the Demon Lord. Betrayed by those he once trusted and cast aside by Konoha, Naruto embraces his new destiny, unlocking powers that shake the very foundation of the world. With a dark, commanding presence and overwhelming strength, he sets out to conquer the elemental nations, toppling corrupt leaders and rewriting the ninja system. Along the way, he builds a terrifying yet loyal army and proves that even in darkness, he's the master of his fate. If you're ready for a story filled with epic battles, darker character arcs, and Naruto rising to unmatched power, then hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. All right, let's step into the shadows and begin this legendary tale. 1 week and one new couch later, Naruto walked down the streets of Konoha, seeing the people hurry to get clear of him out of fear like he was some plague to them or he was going to rip out their souls. The people still couldn't believe that the very person that they had hated for so long was in fact the son of their late Yondaime. And even then, there had been outspoken individuals saying it was not true, that it was propaganda, that he was a bastard child, and that he forfeited his claims to the Namikaze line the instant he left the village. They were soon silenced either by Tsunade or by Naruto, who wanted such bigotry to end one way or another. The difference between the two in methods was that Tsunade would take her bigots to Ibiki or Anko to make them learn their lesson. Naruto simply had them all killed slowly, and in public to simply show he wasn't screwing around. This, of course, caused the older generation to try and steer clear of him out of fear of just losing their lives to him. The poor Haruno family had already paid for their insults with the annihilation of all its members, and at the very hands of the demon, no less before the week's end. However, in a bizarre twist, the younger generation, who had always been told to stay away from the young demon heir, tried to approach him several times and learn more about the swordsman. Their parents of these children had to rush to them on multiple occasions, scolding them for getting near him for what he was, which caused the said children to rebel and further frustrated the said parents. It was not long before Naruto was approached, this time by a tiny young 8-year-old girl with blonde hair, and had short pigtails now blocking his path while looking at him in wonder. She, of course, had heard the stories from her mother, who had apparently lost her own parents during the demon's original attack so many years ago. The little girl now saw those same fiery eyes her mother had told her about. But strangely enough, she saw none of the malice she was told about. And while they were a little scary, they seemed to have a sense of calmness in them that was never described when she was told about the Demon Lord. "Hello there, little one," said Naruto calmly, looking down at the curious child, having seen the look from others that approached him. "Hello, Mr. Kyubi. My name is Misa. Is it all right if I ask you a question?" said Misa, looking at the figure before her, not really paying attention to the people watching them, while some adults want to get some shinobi to stop the inevitable slaughter that was to come. "Of course, Misa, but only if you call me Naruto. Kyubi is my demon father's name," said Naruto, smiling down at the girl, who paused and thought about what he said before nodding. "Are you really an evil demon as my parents say you are?" said the little girl, since she didn't really want to judge this person before her without getting to know him. "To many in Konoha, I am considered to be evil. To others, I am considered good. It's all on your point of view, Misa," said Naruto, never letting his smile leave him, as he kneeled down to her level and looked her in the eyes with her looking back. "My mommy and daddy told me you are evil. That because of you, my grandmother and grandfather were both killed when the house fell down on them due to your power," said Misa, not wanting to believe her parents were liars. But after what happened a week ago and the rumors that followed, she had to be sure. "I see. Tell you what, Misa, if you follow me to get some ramen from my one favorite place in the entire village, I'll tell you my side of the story, and in the end it will be up to you on whether or not you hate me," said Naruto, seeing the girl ponder this, and could tell this girl was something else. "Okay, but you can't tell mommy or daddy I went with you. They may try to get you in trouble," said Misa, whispering it to him, while covering half of her mouth with her right hand. "How very right you are, Misa. After all, we can't have them stop you from asking me your questions now. Can we?" said Naruto, politely getting up from his kneeling position and took her hand before they went off to get some ramen. Hokage's office, 20 minutes later. "Hokage-sama. Hokage-sama," said a Chunin running into the room, finding Tsunade sitting on a nearby couch drinking some sake, and a clone of her doing paperwork. What is it now? The last time someone came in here was to tell me that someone had supposedly seen Naruto doing something wrong. So what did he supposedly do this time? Said Tsunade, having heard it throughout the week with people trying to discredit the man one way or another. Someone just witnessed the Shinigami King abducting a little 8-year-old girl, said the Chunin, who, while not hating said Shinigami King, could not turn away from reporting the alleged crime. What did the witness say exactly? Said Tsunade, knowing that whatever was said was either a lie or exaggerated. The witness said that the Shinigami King had taken the girl to be sacrificed as a form of repayment the village owed him after so many years, said the Chunin, wondering what he should do. Even if they were sent against the man, there was no way that they could defeat him. Well, while that does indeed sound close to what Naruto would do, I doubt he would sacrifice an innocent child out of spite for those assholes below us, said Tsunade before she let out a sigh, feeling a small headache, coming though she was used to it since they were much bigger when she originally did the paperwork. With all due respect, Hokage-sama, this has been the 200th complaint thus far at the end of 1 week. What do you want to do about this? The parents are being notified right now, and no doubt the council will want the man to answer for this alleged crime, said the Chunin, who had run into 1 or 2 council members from time to time, and saw the look of anger in their eyes when they overheard Naruto's name or title mentioned. You're absolutely correct. Send out one AMBU to speak to Naruto and tell him he needs to see me in the meeting room with the council, said Tsunade, knowing this would have to stop and it was going to end. Today, I'll go right away, Hokage-sama, said the Chunin before leaving the room, and Shizen coming in afterwards. The council has been getting excited because of the complaints made against Naruto, said Shizen, having seen something in their eyes when the complaints were made. They obviously want to use this against Naruto to appeal the protective order that the Fire Daimyo gave him against the people that would try to harm him, said Tsunade, not liking this one bit. But she knew that none of the alleged allegations made would have any impact on the Fire Daimyo's decision. This crap was going to stop one way or another. At the Ichiraka ramen stand, Naruto watched the girl eat the ramen served to her happily. She had found that, like him, ramen was a meal that could help make conversations easier on people. The environment surrounding the ramen stand just seemed to give off a sense of trust between people that sat down to eat. Just like now, Misa listened intensely at the Fox Prince's words, telling her the reason behind the attack, his biological father sealing up the QB inside of him, and wishing for his son to be seen as a hero. It saddened the girl's poor heart to know that the village, despite all of its talk about how honorable it was, could not honor the dying wish of the Yondaime, and how they had made the man's life painful. Naruto then told her about the people around him that had been kind to him during those times, who helped him when he was down on his luck and needed their support in things that mattered most. So now that you know more about me, do you now hate me for what I am? Said Naruto, looking at the little girl, who shook her head as a definite no, with some noodles slowly being slurped up into her mouth. It's so nice to see another person understand you, Naruto, said Ayam happily, as she saw the now handsome man, who had once been her family's best customer for many years. Yes, the young are truly the most understanding, said Naruto, smiling down at the girl, patting her head, making her giggle and smile as an 8-year-old should. Naruto-sama, the Hokage has requested your presence in the meeting room to address the council on recent matters, said an ANBU wearing ferret mask kneeling behind the Fox Prince. Very well, said Naruto, getting up from his chair, and saw the worried look on Misa's face. The girl with you has been requested as well, said the ANBU, pointing to Misa, who was just surprised as Naruto was, but the man kept it hidden well. I get to see the Hokage, said Misa, shocked, yet happy, since she had never seen the lady up close and personal before. It would seem so, Misa. Let's go then, said Naruto, paying for the meal and picking up the girl before placing her on his shoulders, making her let out a squeal of glee. With that, 3 vanished from sight. Hokage Tower meeting room. The lack of punishing the one causing all these complaints is excusable, Hokage-sama. I demand that we send an appeal to the Fire Daimyo to remove the protective order. If we do nothing, we could have an insurrection from both civilian and shinobi alike. Especially now after the loss of that poor girl to the demon, said Danzo, looking at the woman's face, now showing a fierce scowl. We want full reparations, Hokage-sama. Money, clothing, and anything else we can get from that demon filth, said the father of Misa, who was holding on to his crying wife. Before you go ahead and simply judge him, Danzo, Why don't we just hear from the man himself, since it's only fair he faces those who are accusing him of such atrocities, said Tsunade before the door opened, allowing the ANBU, Naruto, and to the council's surprise, a little girl on the man's left shoulder. Naruto-sama is here per your request, Hokage-sama, said the ANBU before leaving the room with his task now complete. Misa, said the child's mother, surprised that her daughter not only alive, but was happy with being so close to the Fox Prince. Hello, Mommy. I was hanging out with my new friend, said Misa, smiling at her mother and father, who looked like they were about to die from shock. I take it that whatever charges Misa's parents brought against me are now thrown out, said Naruto, looking at Tsunade, who nodded, smiling at the man, though it was hidden by her hands. Of course, Naruto. You may go now, and I'm sorry once again for causing you so much inconvenience with such stupid people, said Tsunade, glaring at the council members, who were silently cursing the young man before them. See you later, you old bat, said Naruto, walking out of the room with Misa still on his shoulder, waving at her. Hokage-sama, you have to stop him right now. The demon has brainwashed our little girl into liking him, said Misa's father, looking at the woman for help, only to find her scowling eyes burning a hole through him. Has it ever occurred to you that she likes him out of her own free will? You're lucky that you are her only family, or I would have you executed for trying this stunt. Try this again, and Naruto may remove you from me. Now get out of my sight, said Tsunade, making the scared couple leave the room. The demon is a bad influence on the younger generation. He's poisoning their minds into believing he is hero and their parents are the villains, said Hamura, who saw the younger generation not following their lead or that of the parents. Did you ever stop to think, Hamura, that maybe, just maybe, that the younger generation are right, and that the council may in fact be wrong in this matter? Said Tsunade, who saw the hate-filled look in Hamura. Absolutely not. Our vast knowledge of the world has been what's kept Konoha alive for decades, and I will not have some abomination change things, said Hamura, with his old teammate nodding in agreement. Just so you know, Hamura, that abomination, as you so called him, is the leader of the 5 Shinigami Shadows, which is considered the most notorious group in existence. His group is fighting for Konoha's future. He's going to help us win this war. And if you are not careful, he will silence you in the process, said Tsunade, seeing the man squirm at the thought of the threat coming to pass. How is Hataki-san doing? Said Koharu, who felt they should try to tend to other less, but not by much, related matters connected to Naruto. His spine was permanently severed the instant Naruto twisted the blade of his sword, and I had to give him a normal replacement eye for the Sharingan one. His body has become too old to embrace any new bloodline-related eyes we may have in special storage, said Tsunade, since there were a few eyes from various lost clans from other villages, both big and small. Can't we find some way to fix his spinal column so he can walk again? Said Danzo, as he could then have the man become part of the root ANBU to then train into killing the Fox Prince. No. Naruto stabbed Kakashi horizontally before he twisted the blade vertically, so the sharp and dull sides of the weapon would cause more damage around the spine. Had it been a simple stabbing, I could have fixed him with some surgery and therapy that would have followed. However, Kakashi's condition is different on account of the twist method used to cause the damage to the nerves around the area, said Tsunade, having been the one to treat the man, giving him painkillers and the replacement eye. So in short, the demon weakened us, said Hamura, wishing he could strangle the man like he wanted to do when man was still an infant. Or you could call it demonic justice, considering the point of view of the one Kakashi wronged in the past. After all, I would think that, given the council's own methods, that all of you wouldn't question how we win the war, so long as we do in fact win it, said Tsunade, wishing these fools would simply just die or retire already. That is a separate issue, Tsunade, and you know it, said Danzo, since he heard the hidden meaning concerning the root division. That's Hokage to you, Danzo. This meeting is over, said Tsunade, getting up from her side of the table and left to handle other matters more important than old people that did not know when to give up the positions they had due to oversized superiority complexes. Sound Village. Word spreads fast in and out of Konoha to us thanks Danzo's little root division, said Orochimaru, reading the report given to him by his lackey. The army of shinobi we have in Sound are ready, as are the shinobi in IWA. The time for attacking should be now, said Sasuke, itching to burn Konoha to the ground and smear the blood of its people all over the place. I would agree if it were not for the news of that Kyuubi brat reaching me. It seems that he is the one that killed Kabuto and is the leader of the Shinigami Shadows that killed all of Akatsuki, said Orochimaru, looking further down at the report. Not all. Kisame is still alive, and Itachi as well, said Sasuke, looking at the report as well with some mild interest. They are dead in mind and spirit, with the others being the main body of Akatsuki, who were more powerful of the group. With Itachi now without his Sharingan eyes, his skills have weakened significantly. I'm actually a little surprised you didn't go after him the moment you heard he was back in Konoha, said Orochimaru, seeing his future vessel's face darken considerably. Itachi is weak now. I want to fight the man who did that to him. If it was the loser, then so be it, but like last time I'll be the victor, and now truly the last member of my clan, said Sasuke, knowing that there was absolutely no way that Tsunade would even allow his older brother to be used in reviving the clan. Well, Sasuke, I believe you will get your wish soon enough. I just so happen to have this other report from my spies in IWA. They want to attack as soon as possible. Apparently, Danzo leaked information to them that Naruto is the son of the Yondaime and is back in Konoha now with IWA out for his blood, said Orochimaru, showing Sasuke the report. It doesn't matter who his father is. Naruto is a loser and will die at my hands as further proof of it, said Sasuke, who was looking forward to killing his old friend and obtaining the ultimate form of the Sharingan. We will certainly see, won't we, Sasuke? Thought Orochimaru, who also looked forward to fighting the so-called Shinigami King with his own power, with the Uchiha to support him. Konoha. Naruto smiled at Misa after dropping her off at her house and seeing her go inside while waving at him for the entertaining day. It had warmed Naruto's heart that such a child at that age had no hate in her for him despite what everyone told her to the contrary. There was hope in that girl's generation, just as there had been with his own, and that was all the Fox Prince needed to stay here a little bit after the war was over. After walking through the streets of people, who still avoided him like a plague, he soon sensed 3 shadows along the rooftops above him. Naruto couldn't help but smile as he sensed just who those shadows belonged to. Naruto-ni-chan, said Konohamaru, jumping in front with his 2 teammates, having just returned from a mission only a few minutes ago with Ebisu. Hey Konohamaru, you've grown. All of you have, said Naruto, seeing how much the boy had matured into looking just like the Sandaime at that age. Moegi and Udon both looked mature as well and looked like the spitting image of their 2 grandparents on the council when they were younger. Of course, the big difference being that the group before him was not arrogant, power-hungry, and are assholes to other people around them. So have you, boss? You're really strong now, said Moegi, looking at the man before her with her teammates in awe of his form. Yeah. We all found out from the old hag that you were back in the village and wanted to see you right away since it has been so long, said Konohamaru, though they kind of left when they should have stayed to give a mission briefing with their sensei, so there was a distinct possibility that the female fire shadow would be slightly upset at them. Oh well, the Hokage could always take it out on their sensei. That is correct. A lot has happened since the last time you saw me. Come on, let's go talk back at my estate with the others so you can meet them, said Naruto, getting a nod from his younger friends. Hokage Tower. You didn't tell him about the Chunin exams coming up yet, said Shizen to Tsunade, who was sitting across from her relaxing while the shadow clone did all the paperwork while curing the original for being lazy. There was no need to Shizen. I think Naruto already knows about it, and if he does not, then he soon will from the core. Since they learned of his return to Konoha a week ago, said Tsunade, having sent Jiraiya out to do spy work on Orochimaru and IWA during that time. Orochimaru might use this opportunity to attack our village again like he did with the Sandaime, only without the finesse of a disguise, said Shizen, knowing that with all the people focusing on the Chunin exams, it would leave them vulnerable to a large invasion force. Which is why I have Naruto and the Shinigami shadows on my side, said Tsunade, as if it were the simplest thing in the world. Namake's estate. What? What do you mean you aren't going to be Hokage? Said Konohamaru, who was looking at his rival like he was nuts. Just as I said, Konohamaru, I am not going to be Hokage of Konoha. Even if I wanted to, won't take it. Being a demon lord means that I cannot die, which means I will outlive you, and all those I care about that are bound by the rules of mortality. Make no mistake, I will not dissolve our friendship over something such as that, but I cannot be Hokage and rule over the people that will one day die while I still live. When this war is over, I will stay for a few years until you have become Hokage of Konoha to make sure the full transition takes effect. Then, Hinata and I will leave this village to return only when we need to check up on the village to ensure it hasn't fallen to the ways of the arrogant fools that are currently on the council, said Naruto, getting a nod from the group of young genin before him. Are you going to one of the proctors for the Chunin exams like Ibiki? Said Udon hopefully, since they were going to be in it this year. Maybe. To be honest, I wasn't aware the Chunin exams were being hosted here this year. But it does make sense now that I think about it. If I request it or I am asked to by the old hag, I will. But a word of warning to the three of you. If anything bad starts to happen, be on guard. And find your sensei for possible orders, said Naruto, sternly, seeing the genin's eyes widen, since they understood that confrontation with the two shinobi villages was approaching. But they didn't realize it would happen so soon. Boss, do you think the Hibi team and Sasuke team are going to attack while the exams are going on? Like you did that last time? Said Konohamaru, looking at his idol, who just nodded his head and looked at them with the most serious face they had ever seen him show. I wouldn't put it past him, Konohamaru. However, neither you nor your team is to try and engage him in battle. You have gotten stronger, that much I can sense, but you are nowhere near his level, said Naruto, seeing the trio's look of dismay at being ordered not to engage the Sannin. Give him a hard punch for me and grandfather then, said Konohamaru, knowing that if he couldn't give the team a hit, his big brother would in his place. You got it. Now go train a little, so you can get stronger, said Naruto, getting up from the couch and escorting the Konohamaru Corps out of his home. If Orochimaru attacks Konoha, he'll bring Sasuke with him. And if he kills you, he'll be able to obtain the ultimate form of the Sharingan. Once Sasuke lowers his guard, over it the Sannin will possess the Uchiha's body, said Hinata, coming up behind him, wrapping her slender arms around his muscled chest. I say, let them come, Hinata-heim. Let them come, so I can send them into the abyss and have them be forever burned by the flames of hell, said Naruto, before grabbing her ever-delicate hands and kissed them each once before squeezing them gently. Then I say, let them come too. So when you send them into hell, I will be there by your side, watching them both suffer for their unforgivable sins, said Hinata, kissing his neck and cheek to make him know that she was with him. 2 weeks later, it was the day of the Chunin exams, and people from all over were coming to Konoha to stay for the duration of it, or for the part that they would see being the final part that were the matches. Right now, the various genin teams from other shinobi villages were piling into the third floor of the academy to take the written exam portion of the test. The proctor for the written portion was Momochi Zabuza, aka the Demon Ghost. All right, you little shits, here is how it works. Normally, I'm going to give each of you the written portion of the Chunin exams. These other proctors will make sure none of you cheat, and if you do, then your ass belongs to me, said Zabuza with his face covered before he took his sword and destroyed the desk next to him, making most of the genin in the room to already start panicking. Holy shit, thought the other genin teams and even some of the proctors who had seen their fair share of teachers being sadistic. If you feel you can't take the test, then this is your one chance to back out now and go back to your village or family with your tail between your legs, said Zabuza, seeing a few genin teams leave rather quickly a few more minutes later, only with piss running down their legs. Okay, calm down. Remember what boss said before we came here. Stick to your kanai, don't give up, and do not upset the proctor to the point where he will want to chop me in half, thought Konohamaru, who gulped at the sight of the destroyed desk along with Moegi and Udon as they prepared to get out of this written part alive. Anyone else? Good, now begin. You have 1 hour, so I suggest you use that 2+ pounds worth of liquid gray flesh you call a brain, said Zabuza, letting out a chuckle making that made several genin teams so nervous that several of them broke their pencils in half. They were among the first to go. After the test from hell, as the remaining genins in the room called it was finally over, they soon had to deal with the crazy woman that was Mitarashi Anko, who came flying through the window of the classroom. She was late again, of course, but only because she got held up by a certain albino of a Kagaya, who had kept her busy with intense intimacy, and with the help from a certain Inuzuka female assisting him. Okay, you maggots, come on and follow me to the next stage. Unlike your parents, I'm not going to hold your hand to take you there, so if you can't keep up, you and your team fails, said Anko before rushing out the window, smirking at the shocked looks on most of the face of the genin teams in the room. Come on, you guys. We can't let that crazy snake lady fail us, said Konohamaru, who had soon leaped out the window, followed by Moegi and Udon. The rest of the remaining teams soon followed, already leading and at such a young age. Thought Zabuza picking up the tests, and he couldn't help but smirk at the paper left by the Sandame's grandson. You really scared the crap out of everyone in here. Boss was right when he said you were a real badass. Sarutobi Konohamaru, the future 6th Hokage. So I'm a real badass, huh? And here I thought I was being too gentle with them all. Oh well, I can always plan for the next one to be much worse, said Zabuza, chuckling at the thought before leaving with the papers to give to the Hokage. Outside of Konoha, is the shinobi army from Sound ready? Said the MBU captain, looking at his subordinate, who bowed his head before him. Yes, Captain. We just need the starting signal to attack Konoha from Orochimaru-sama and Sasuke-sama, said the MBU subordinate, giving the leader of the attacker the scroll listing what plan for the attack. Those fools in Konoha think we are going to attack during the final part of the Chunin exam. But by attacking early, we have the advantage in catching them by surprise, just as Orochimaru predicted we would, said the IWMBU captain, smirking behind his mask, and was glad that Tsuchikage had given him the honor of leading this attack. It is a shame that Tsuchikage left the task of killing the Yondaime son up to the Sannin and Uchiha Sasuke, said another IWA shinobi among the attackers. They may get the kill, but we will get the body for future use and study when we take it with us to IWA. That Tsuchikage wants to learn all the secrets of the Namikaze line, and anything short of his body, mostly intact, will result in failure, said the AMBU captain, knowing that their Kage's mercy had limits. And they had all seen the limits of the Tsuchikage's mercy. The signal, Captain, said an IWA shinobi before an explosion was heard far off, and the alarms in Konoha went off, indicating the attack had begun. Attack! Yelled the AMBU captain before he and his army of IWA shinobi began storming the Leaf, shinobi caught off guard by this sudden invasion. As the IWA shinobi army engaged, a large portion of them were being dragged back into the forest against their will by a large amount of sand. In Konoha, Ichiraka ramen stand. You better get to the shelter, I am Chan, said Haku, kissing her hand before putting on covering his face with his mask and hood to become the infamous Black Angel. Be careful, Haku-chan. If you come back, I'll give you a taste of my special ramen, said Ayam, winking at him before hurrying towards the shelter with her father, who looked back at Haku with a look that said, touch my daughter and lose your manhood. It could be worse. He could have spoken what his face was saying, thought Haku, who blushed under his mask, as he had to keep a hold on his growing urge to taste Ayam's special ramen. In Izuka clan home Hana's room. Damn invasion is messing with our alone time. And here I thought I would get you all to myself after Anko left to deal with the Chunin exams, said Hana, getting dressed with Kimimaro, who was nearly done, giving her kiss on the lips to stop her from fussing and focus more on the task at hand. Do not get upset, Hana-chan. Once we deal with this invasion, I promise you I'll make it up to you by tripling my efforts from before, said Kimimaro before he nibbled on her and licked her ear with his tongue, making the Inuzuka growl with lust and stomp the ground with her right several times. Let's hurry then. I'm fighting off the urge to screw you, then go outside to fight them, said Hana, who got ready to fight before leaping out the window with Kimimaro behind her. Maybe I should have helped her give into the urges, thought Kimimaro, finding his love for the two women in his life and their incredible figures truly a sight to behold, especially the Inuzuka's body. Oh yeah, Hokage Tower. Damn it, they are attacking sooner than we expected, said Tsunade, cursing at the sight outside, and started to exit the room with Shizen to assist in defending the village. I'm sorry, Hokage-sama, but you aren't allowed to leave, said one of the ANBU outside of her office with no emotion in her voice. I'm not allowed? I'm the Hokage Yubaka, and it's my duty to defend the village, not sit around or hide like a coward while this place gets attacked, said Tsunade, scowling at the ANBU and the other shinobi outside of her room. We have our orders. Resist, and we will restrain you, said the emotionless ANBU, as he moved to the hilt of his sword behind his back. Tsunade frowned at the group of so-called bodyguards that were standing outside of her office, and felt something was wrong with his picture, knowing that as Hokage, no one could overrule her in terms of war or military affairs. Sensing a jinjutsu of sorts around the ANBU, she silently broke using the form Naruto told her, and her eyes widened less than an inch at the sight of the masks the ANBU were wearing. They were the rude ANBU that was loyal only to Danzo, and to a lesser extent, they were to both Koharu and Hamura. Go to hell, said Tsunade, punching the ANBU across the hall before the man could unsheath his sword. Restrain her and take her to a holding cell, said another rude ANBU, as the group drew weapons to fight the Hokage/Sannin. They were all blown away as the ground beneath them exploded, and Jiraiya, of all people, who had used a Rasengan just a mere moment ago, was looking at the two women with his dashing looks. The look itself, ironically enough, had frightened little children just as much as Orochimaru did when smiling. And that was saying something. "Sorry I'm late, but I was held up with important matters concerning reaching Suna about this," said Jiraiya, since a spy network had picked up the information only a few days prior, and he decided to speak to the Kazekage about sending reinforcements. Even as Jiraiya spoke to the two women, Gaara was here personally killing IWA or sound shinobi left and right with his two siblings. "For once in your miserable life, I'm glad you are here, since I need you to help me along with Shizen to round up the council, and Danzo for treason," said Tsunade, knowing that he knew of Danzo was trying to keep her contained away from the battle, just so he could make her out to be a coward, thus getting the people of Konoha to support him, and the council in removing her as Hokage, with the root leader as her replacement. "So those old windbags finally decided to grow some balls and take action against you during this invasion, huh? Not surprising, I guess, with Danzo in Orochimaru's pocket to help with the invasion on the inside to make it go the Hebe's way. Not to mention that the help of Iwa's own invasion army will be doing the grunt work due to their much larger numbers," said Jiraiya, knowing how IWA chose to have quantity over quality, which was part of the reason why they lost in the last war against Konoha in the first place. "We'll let Naruto, his team, and every other shinobi in Konoha deal with invasion. If we leave those old prunes alone, they'll find a way to turn this in their favor, or they might try to escape," said Tsunade, having no intention of letting those old fools get the upper hand on her. No, this time Tsunade was going to get them in her hands, and then squeeze the life out of them until their heads exploded. "Lead the way, Tsunade-heim," said Jiraiya with a cheesy grin on his face. "Baka, he'll never mature. I guess that's why I love him so much," thought Tsunade, who let out a sigh of frustration before the three headed off to hunt down the treacherous three council members. With Naruto walked calmly along the now abandoned streets of Konoha, having ordered Zabuza and Yujito to engage any enemy shinobi they encountered. His entire unit was precise in their plans for defending Konoha from any form of invasion after having spoken to the Nara clan in private about this what-if situation. Should the two villages of both IWA and Sound attack together or separately? The plan was simple enough, as each Shinigami Shadow would take a gate that had the greatest risk of being attacked and defended. As for Naruto himself, he planned on going Hebe team and Uchiha team hunting in order to cut the head of the beast both in the pre-verbal matter as well as the literal one. "You can come out now, Sasuke. I know where you here, so don't try to insult me by your pitiful attempt at hiding from me. The same goes for you too, Orochimaru," said Naruto, stopping and looking at the nearby alley, as the two mentioned shinobi came out of the dark passageway looking at him with a mix of hate, anger, curiosity, and something close to psychotic happiness. "So the loser gains a few skills. Maybe they will prove useful to me in testing how strong I am against you," said Sasuke, smirking at Naruto, who stayed completely calm while he stared back. "You intrigue me, Naruto-san. I look forward to dissecting you when this is over after I make a false copy of you to give to IWA," said Orochimaru, having already prepared a fake body for when the deception took place. "If Sasuke can kill me, that is. You saw how I killed Kabuto so easily, and even after so many years pass by, your future vessel is nowhere near the dead Jounin's level. How can Sasuke beat me when he can barely hold his own now against someone of Kabuto's shinobi level?" said Naruto, unsheathing his sword while Orochimaru brought out his, and Sasuke did as well, before activating his Sharingan eyes. "These eyes have the power to see everything you do, Naruto. I have the strongest eyes of the entire clan of Uchihas before not seen since the late Uchiha Madara," said Sasuke, with his smirk growing wider with each passing moment. "True, but then again, I was the one to kill Madara," said Naruto, letting out a smirk of his own at that, which made Sasuke's turn into a frown, having read the report on that, yet not really believing it for himself. "If that's the case, then let's see if you can fight off his one true successor and second coming, Uchiha Sasuke," said Sasuke, charging at Naruto, with Orochimaru right behind him, knowing a 2-on-1 assault would allow for greater odds against the Fox Prince. Naruto dodged Sasuke's blade and parried against Orochimaru's own due to the nature of the blade itself was far deadlier than the Uchihas. With Sasuke now coming up quickly behind him, Naruto quickly created a shadow clone to deal with the Uchiha long enough to handle the Hebe team, and then refocused back to finishing off his former best friend. "You skills are impressive with a blade, Naruto-san. Indeed, had I known you would one day become this strong, I would have made you into my next vessel and crushed Konoha easily, said Orochimaru, unleashing a swift combination of one-hand sign jutsus to mix with his sword skills. My father would have blasted you with his demon chakra and killed you had you even tried that, said Naruto, knowing that once Orochimaru did whatever he did to possess bodies, he would have come face to face with an angry Kyuubi that was his father. Oh, so you two are now related in terms of parent and child, are you? How unexpected that is, though it does explain how you got such incredible power, and the talks of you being the new demon lord among foxes, said Orochimaru with his eyes filled with glee at the thought of not only killing a full-fledged demon lord, but learning the body's secrets to further cheat death and strengthen his immortality jutsu. That, and I trained like there was no tomorrow. Something you took for granted. You do not even realize the alternative method outside of the Sharingan eyes to learning all the justice in the world, said Naruto, seeing the Sannin's shocked expression, and used it to get through Orochimaru's defense to cut of the man's left arm. The man was so deep in pain, he couldn't speak the words he wanted to ask the Demon Lord concerning the alternative method outside of the Sharingan. By that point, Sasuke had finally killed the shadow clone version of Naruto before rushing at the red-haired man using the curse seal at level 2, and turned the Chidori into a Rikiri while channeling it into his sword. Lightning Destroyer, said Sasuke, his body having transformed into the hideous form it did back at the Valley of the End all those years ago, in the hopes that this time, the man standing before him would finally die. Keeping his back to the Uchiha, so not to seeing his eyes and allowing his enemy to read his movements, Naruto disappeared so fast it looked like he was more of ghost than man. The Uchiha didn't stop his attack as he thrust it into Orochimaru, making the Sannin cry out in pain as he felt like his body was on fire, and weakened him significantly. You traitorous boy, said Orochimaru when the attack stopped and the Sannin fell over into near death. You missed, said Naruto, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. True, but I was going to kill him anyway, and I figured now would be the best time in order to submit myself into the world as the man that killed Orochimaru, said Sasuke in a normal voice before turning to face Naruto with those evil-looking eyes. Orochimaru's not dead, Yubaka. He's just close to it, and until he does die you can't claim such a title, said Naruto, smirking at the Uchiha's newfound anger towards him. Then I'll just have to kill him after I've killed you, said Sasuke, his voice now turning demonic as he readied another attack at the Fox Prince, who started making one-handed signs under his black cape. Demon prison style, chains of the underworld jutsu, said Naruto before pointing his left hand at Sasuke, and before the dark Uchiha could move fast enough, he found himself bound by spiky, heavy metal chains. What trickery is this? Said Sasuke, feeling the tips of the chains eating away at parts of his body, allowing only his face untouched. It's a jutsu I created to bind and keep you placed so you can hear what I have to say. The first thing I want to say is how much of an idiot you are for even leaving the village to begin with. You had so many people eating out of your hands, giving you whatever you want, and what did you do? You acted like they were nothing to you. They would have given you almost anything within reason to help you achieve your goals, but you just ignored them. Had you stayed, the council would have used their influence to make you Hokage one day, thus giving you access to all the jutsus in Konoha with every jounin that could make you stronger at your disposal. You think that Orochimaru was going to let you kill your brother after he took over your body? He was going to use your body to know every jutsu in the world and leave Itachi alone unless it was absolutely necessary to engage him in battle. You would have never gotten your revenge for what Itachi did to your clan. Only death, said Naruto, his words ending with slight bit of pity, but for whom he wasn't quite sure. It doesn't matter. As long as someone had Uchiha blood running in their veins that is not my brother, I don't care. Hatake Kakashi, said Sasuke, only to stop when he saw an all-knowing look appear on Naruto's face. Kakashi no longer has the Sharingan eye in his body, and I crippled him as a shinobi for life after severing his spine. You look surprised, Sasuke. Did Orochimaru not tell you? He probably didn't tell you, knowing that it would make you very angry at the loss of another Sharingan user like yourself. I bet Hatake-sen was something close to a distant uncle or cousin in a sense, wasn't he? Well, consider that person dead, as all that's left is a weak man who wishes he was dead after taking away his life before his time, said Naruto, walking toward Sasuke, who in his increasing rage struggled against the chains only to find them digging deeper into his body, causing even more pain. I guess it will be up to Itachi of all people to revive our clan, said Sasuke, only to find Naruto was shaking his head at his words as if they were foolish. Sasuke, you still don't get it? You run of an inbred Uchiha. Your clan is not going to be revived by Itachi. It's going to die with Itachi, said Naruto in a near whisper, so only Sasuke could hear, and made the young man's eyes widen at these words. In fact, the Uchiha of Sound Village was so stunned, he didn't even feel the pain from his head leaving his body after Naruto sliced it off. Elsewhere, are you sure that this will work, Danzo? Said Hamura with Koharu beside him, as they were in an underground root complex under Konoha. Trust me, Hamura-san. By the time the invasion is over, Konoha will be reborn anew, and once the people see that it is for the better, they will denounce Tsunade as their Hokage, said Danzo, smirking evilly at his fellow council members. Are you sure that we can even trust Orochimaru to give us the immortally jutsu, so we can continue to live past our normal life expectancy? Said Koharu, knowing that the Sannin would say one thing and then do another. One way or another we will get that jutsu from Orochimaru, and then we will be able to cheat death as he has Koharu-san. Once we are all restored to our prime-like state once again, we will secretly kill Tsunade and those foolish enough to support her, said Danzo before an explosion was heard and fighting was heard outside the room. What the hell was that? I thought you said no one knew about this place, said Hamura, looking at Danzo, wondering if the man had let something slip despite the man being so thorough in his work. They all got their answer when the door to the room exploded, revealing Tsunade, Jiraiya, Shizen, Asuma, Gima, and Anko looking highly upset at the council members. Surprised? Said Tsunade, venomously sounding tone, while cracking her knuckles to give the group the biggest beating of their lives. How dare you trespass here, Tsunade? You have no right to even, said Danzo, only for him to silence in his semi-ranting by something hitting his shoulder from behind, a hand over his mouth, and a kunai held near his neck. It is you that has no right, Danzo-san. You are going to die here along with your fellow council members for various crimes against Konoha, said Kimimaro with Inuzuka Hana, beside him with her blade, less than an inch from Koharu. You two sure do know how to make an entrance, Senkuin, said Anko, who smirked at her two lovers, who nodded both their heads to Anko, while Kimimaro tried to keep the blush down behind what concealed his face. Even in serious situations like this, Anko could make him feel so enticed by her bizarre, if not sadistic ways, and Kami help him. He loved every second of it. Hamura quickly drew a hidden sword from his sleeve and aimed for Hana, who was the closest foe to him, knowing that if he went down, he would take one of them with him. The elderly man never got his chance, as a Senbon needle hit a pressure point controlling his sword arm, making him release the blade before he got within striking range of the Inuzuka woman. You should have used that sword to kill yourself, Hamura-san. Now you will die at our hands rather than your own, said Haku from behind the old man, and took out his two kodachis, preparing to aim them down at the old fool. We were only following orders. We had no choice, said Koharu, looking at Tsunade for some form of mercy. Kill them all? Any attempt of having a trial would just simply extend their already overextended lives, said Tsunade without batting an eye, as she saw the look of horror on their faces and smiled at seeing them being killed in such a bloody manner. Granted, Tsunade would freeze up at the sight of it, but only when it was the blood of the ones she cared about, and the three now dead council members were not among that list. With Naruto, the all-black wearing warrior known as Kyuubi Naruto walked towards the slowly dying Orochimaru, who was spitting up blood. His heart was beating erratically from Sasuke's surprise attack, and was now at the mercy of a demon lord. The Fox Prince cocked his head to the side slightly, almost amused at how the Sannin struggled to live out of fear of facing death and all his sins from years past. Anything you want to know before you die? Said Naruto, placing the tip of the blade on Orochimaru's throat. What is the alternative? Said Orochimaru, finding it getting more and more difficult to breathe. What? You mean the alternative outside of needing the Sharingan eyes to learn jutsus faster? That's the easiest question in the world. The answer is shadow clones. When a shadow clone is dispersed, all the knowledge that it has goes straight to the original, and depending on how many you make will shorten your time learning things. With your chakra reserves You could have learned so many things during those 3 years before you had to switch bodies and become so much more powerful. That is the alternative, said Naruto, looking at the Sannin with a blank face despite seeing the revelation on the man's face. After seeing the look on Orochimaru's face, Naruto gave a brief stabbing into the snake's Sannin's throat and slicing it off seconds later, leaving it a headless body. Satisfied with the death of the parasite of a man at his hands and not that of the Uchihas, Naruto used a simple fire jutsu to burn the dead man's body, knowing the soul would have plenty of time to get used to it in hell. After the invasion, by the end of the chaotic day, the Sound/IWA invasion had been completely wiped out by the combined efforts of both Konoha and Suna forces. Special praise also went to all 5 Shinigami Shadows, who had been key in the defense of Konoha during the invasion, as well helping the Hokage crush the impending insurrection by the council. The Fire Daimyo himself awarded the Shinigami Shadows with the Will of Fire Medal, which was the highest prestigious award given only to the most recognized warriors of the feudal lord of Fire Country. Gaara was given the Master of Wind Medal by the Wind Daimyo himself, who praised the Kazekage for his loyalty and shinobi skills with his powers in combat against IWA. Both Hinata and the Kinomaru Corps were also given special recognition due to their performance during the invasion from what Zabuza had revealed. Apparently, several of the invading IWA shinobi were able to get deep enough into Konoha to attack the Ninja Academy, only to be repelled back by Hinata and the Kinomaru Corps. The group had used what could only be described by Zabuza as interesting jutsus and strategy when giving a telling of the events. Each of the trio were promoted to Chunin for their show of teamwork, strategy, and leadership skills needed to get promoted. Kinomaru Corps were happy as could be as they jumped around together before Tsunade yelled at all 3 of them to shut up. The Kinomaru Corps, in return, retaliated by combining their strengths and breaking her age, hiding Jinjutsu on her body, scaring many men at seeing just how old the Hokage really was. They were soon all sent to the hospital and wouldn't be out for the next 2 months. Jiraiya soon followed, being sent to the hospital from rolling on the ground laughing at his old teammate's appearance, as the form of herself as a lovely woman had been utterly destroyed by 3 upstart and recently promoted Chunin. With all those things done, Naruto and Hinata headed to the Uchiha District to take care of the final piece of business that was left to deal with. Uchiha District, 10 minutes later. So you have come, just as I knew you would, said Itachi, smiling as he sensed Naruto enter, but was surprised that Hyuga Hinata was with him as well. She was the only person Itachi knew that smelled naturally like lavenders. Your brother is dead, as I assume you know. The same with Orochimaru. And with the exception of Kisame here, you are the only one left of Akatsuki to kill. That honor I am giving to my mate, said Naruto, turning to Hinata, who would strike the man, making his death quick, clean, and depending on Itachi, painless. I see. When I am dead, what will happen to Kisame? Said Itachi, who sensed the fear in his old partner's form. Miss finally got their whole situation back home fixed and want him back for his past crimes against them as well as other places too. After you are dead, my team is to escort Kisame right in a mist and personally witness the man's execution before delivering the news back to the Hokage, said Naruto, seeing the look of Kisame, closing his eyes in pure defeat, knowing that this was going to happen sooner or later. At least, I was alive just long enough to know that everything that has happened finally come full circle, said a now smiling Itachi, who had never really smiled for many years. It will be quick, said Naruto, moving near Kisame, should he even remotely try to stop this private execution, as Hinata moved behind Itachi, preparing to strike him at the back of his head with her gentle fist. I am ready, said Itachi, not letting his calm smile drop from his face, as Hinata struck true with the hit striking where the brain and spine connected, thus severing the nerve connection to the body before the attack cut through the brain, killing him instantly. Before I get sent to Mist, can I at least stay for Itachi's funeral? That is if you're having one, said Kisame, looking at the Demon Lord, who nodded at Kisame before he picked up the body and went outside to the Uchiha burial grounds. The small funeral consisted of Naruto, Hinata, and Kisame watching the body of the last Uchiha ironically burning in the fire that surrounded him, which was the main affinity of the now-dead clan. Mist Village 3 weeks later. It's a shame I couldn't stay a little longer. I could have taken the young one there as an apprentice, said Kisame, pointing to Haku, knowing of the boy's bloodline with water. The notes you left behind for him will do just fine. One day he will surpass you, said Zabuza before glaring at his adopted son as a sign to work his ass off, or else. I think he already has. Well, I guess it's time I meet my end. Time to go out with a smile on my face, said Kisame, being led by the group outside to the people of watching the execution of the infamous swordsman. On this day, Hoshigaki Kisame died by decapitation with a smile on his face, having died in the very village that gave birth to him. Konoha, 2 weeks later. So Kisame is officially dead? Said Tsunade looking at Naruto, who nodded with his team standing behind him. As dead as you are old, said Naruto, letting out a chuckle, making Tsunade grow a super red Rick mark on her head. You're lucky you got home as quickly as you did, seeing as Hinata has been getting quite impatient for some odd reason, said Tsunade, though she already knew the reason after seeing the changes the girl went through when at the hospital. Well, I have been away for over a month because of this mission, and I do have magic fingers when it comes to being intimate, said Naruto, who smiled more when Tsunade held up a hand to make him stop. Stop! I don't want to hear anymore. You're free to go. Don't forget to pick up your pay before you leave the tower, said Tsunade, who was thankful that the fire daimyo had brought back the village financially to its former budget. If he didn't, she wasn't sure how she could pay the group. Namake's estate. Naruto-kun, said Hinata, leaping at him, causing him to catch and hold her bridal style before she bombarded him with kisses. How are you, my ever-so-sexy Heim? Said Naruto before looking back at his team to get lost so he could be alone with his mate. They were gone like the wind. Lonely without you, Naruto-kun. Can you get rid of that loneliness for me? Said Hinata in a sexy pout that not even Naruto could resist. For you, I'll quadruple my efforts. I promise, said Naruto, carrying the woman he loved into the bedroom where the Fox Prince carried out his promise and helped Hinata feel much better again and again and again. All was right with the world, as it finally should have been. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed exploring this what if with me. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Your support truly makes a difference, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Until next time, take care and stay tuned for more.